All right, what's up, everybody? This is the Jawbreaker podcast associated with the Sports Mark Analyst. My name is Adam. This is Roman. And today we're going to do a little preview / prediction show on the upcoming UFC 247 this coming Saturday, February 8th. Yeah. So, first off, I just want to say, when I first looked at this card, the whole all of it up and down, it didn't appear to me to be the most stacked card, not the flashiest, not too many well-known names, but it is very top-heavy with two championship fights, John Jones and Valentina Shevchenko, two of whom are you could consider arguably the best in their divisions, maybe even arguably two of the best in all of MMA, really. So with that, it kind of balances out, and this seems like one of those kind of cards that a few fights that you didn't see coming end up being a fight of the night contender, performance of the night rather, and have some excitement on it, things you wouldn't expect. So yeah, let's get right into it then for our first fight. So the first fight we're looking at to predict is actually one that's a little unusual, because you have Derek Lewis, first fight of the main card. Derek Lewis, Houston's own Derek Lewis, going up against Ilir Latifi, moving up to heavyweight. Yeah, what do you think? How do you think this is going to go
down? This fight on paper looks like a very winnable fight for Derek Lewis. He's coming off of a big win over a Blagoyev Ivanov split decision win, but he did show his cardio did improve. He was able to fight off his back, able to get back onto his feet and persevere takedowns. Even though he was coming off prior to that fight, he came off 2 losses against Daniel Cormier, who he took that fight in a month after he won against Volkov, and then he lost to Junior Dos Santos. I think that was lack of cardio. He was caught by TKO on that fight. But I think now he's training a lot harder. He's more disciplined. He's going to be turning 35 the day before the fight, which is kind of cool. Maybe that's a little motivation factor. And then you have Ilir Latifi, who's on a 2-fight losing streak, lost to Ozdemir and Corey Anderson. He's 7-5 in the UFC. Does have 5 finishes, but it's been a little bit inconsistent. I don't see Latifi keeping up the pace and being able to take down Lewis. For 3 rounds, he'll get very tired, especially trying to pick up all that weight. So I do see Derek Lewis in the second round winning by TKO.
All right. Yeah, what a size difference in this. I mean, you have Ilir Latifi, who some would say was even too small to be a light heavyweight. He's 5'10". Then you have Derek Lewis, who's one of the bigger heavyweights in the division. 6'3". He barely makes the cutoff at 265 or 266 rather. So that alone is just pretty insane. It's gonna be fun to look at probably in the cage. Now, I mean, we'll see what Latifi comes in weighing, and I'm sure he probably want to put on a little weight. But yeah, I think Ilir's best bet would be to definitely try to take Derek Lewis down. Not sure if he's gonna be able to do that. Like you were saying, I mean, he's a big guy. Even if he is able to get a hold of him, I mean, it's too much weight for him to handle. And if Derek Lewis lands even anything close to a clean shot on Latifi, I think he's going down. Simply because Latifi doesn't seem to have the best chin, and he doesn't really do a good job of moving his head with head movement. So, yeah, with that being said, I'd say, I'm gonna say actually Derek Lewis wins by a knockout in the first round. So, all right. So next up we have fight right after Rasad Bektik against Dan Ige in the featherweight division. Yeah, how do you see this going?
This is a good fight for Dan Ige. It's a big step up in competition. He is in a 4-fight win streak here. He's fighting a guy, Mirsad Bektik, coming out of American Top Team. He does have 2 losses in the UFC. He's 6-2. He's coming off of a loss of Josh Emmett, which is he is a good fighter. He's in the top 10 division in that division, and then he lost to Darren Elkins as well. But I think this is going to come down to wrestling. Who has the best wrestling and possibly who has the better submission? I think Mirsad Bektik will have more experience in this fight. It'll be a good learning step for Dan Ige. I do see Mirsad Bektik winning 3rd round submission. He's going to out wrestle him and from there be able to submit him.
Yeah, this is like of all the picks we're making today, I would say this was the hardest. I was a little back and forth on who I think would pull out the win. Like you were saying, Bektik, it was really good wrestling. Ige, I think the only way maybe win is keep this stand on the feet and just try to pretty much outpoint Bektik. But yeah, I think Bektik eventually he takes him down. Wrestling is going to be a big part of this fight, and ends up grinding it out and getting a decision. All right. So now we'll move on to the co-main event. Valentina Shevchenko defending her women's flyweight title against Caitlin Chookagian.
So yeah, this is a very good fight. Yeah, Valentina Shevchenko, who's on a 4-fight win streak. She avenged her loss against Liz Carmouche, giving her other 2 lone losses to Amanda Nunes. This is her 3rd title defense in this flyweight, right?
Yeah.
Flyweight? Yeah, flyweight division. I mean, you can make an argument that Valentina Shevchenko is number 2 female pound for pound. I mean, even though that last the fight that she had against Amanda Nunes was pretty close, you can make an argument that she won that fight. And in the first fight when she fought her, if that fight had 5 rounds instead of the 3 rounds, I think Shevchenko was on her way of winning that fight. Nunes was getting tired after the 3rd round. In the 3rd round, and she was getting dominated. But I do see the key to victory for Valentina. She was gonna be for her to win. It's gonna be off the counter strikes. She's gonna have to wait for Caitlin to try to attack. She's gonna throw some counter kicks and punches and grapple and take her down. That's what she does best. Caitlin Chookagian, she has a 2-fight win streak, 6-2 in the UFC. All her wins are by decision. She lost her 2 fights by split decision, very close fights. But I don't really see Caitlin Chookagian pulling this one out. I mean, she is coming from a great camp with Mark Henry, trains with Denzel Gracie. I mean, the only way Caitlin wins, she has to be very, very patient. She has to punch, go in and out constantly. But I think Valentina will be too quick for her, and I think this fight will end in the 3rd round by submission. Shevchenko will win.
Submission. All right. Yeah, like you were saying, I think if Chookagian's going to have her best shot of winning, she's definitely going to have to take her time. Like you said, footwork would have to play a big part in this. Basically, she'll have to just make it, get a few punches, kicks, combos in, and then get away. Because I honestly think that that Shevchenko is just she's just better than Chukagian just about in everything. She's so well rounded. You could tell she's like a perfectionist in just every aspect of MMA. So that being said, though, I can't imagine Caitlin Chukagian. I mean, she's pretty much like a point fighter, like you said. A lot of most of her wins came by decision. You know, she's very good at at point fighting, but I just don't think it's going to be enough going up against someone who's as explosive as Valentina. She's got a great, quick striking. Her kicks, her spinning back kicks, her precise punching, her clinch work, everything. She can go on the ground. She can ground and pound you. She does a great job at holding you down and getting some strikes in that way. She can win it, I think, any way she wants. I'm going to go ahead and say, though, that it ends in the second round via TKO. I'm going to go with the ground and pound TKO by Valentina Shevchenko. All right, so now on to our last one, our main event of the evening. John Bones Jones defending his light heavyweight title against an undefeated Dominic Reyes. Should also be able to say that John Jones is undefeated too, but we both have one loss because of some BS disqualification. Hopefully one day they'll remove that or something. Because it's just it doesn't look right. At worst it should have just been a no contest or something. But to give a loss for something like that, especially a fight he was clearly winning, doesn't make much sense to me. Excuse me. So how do you see this happening?
So this fight, when I think about it, it almost feels like Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman for the first time. It almost has that same mystique to it, where no one really gave Chris Weidman a chance, counted him out, and then he shocked the world. I'm not saying this will exactly happen. John Jones is not, dumb enough to clown around in the octagon and play games. You have John Jones, who should be 26 or 27-0 if you don't count the Hamill loss and the Cormier no contest. You got arguably the greatest fighter on the planet right now besides Khabib, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali. He's right up there to make the case. John Jones is making his third title defense. Prior to that, he had 8 title defense before he was stripped. This guy is the greatest of all time, and every fight you put him against, he makes it look easy. His last fight was a split decision win against Thiago Santos. I think that was besides the Gustafsson fight, the first one he had. This was the hardest fight he was put through, and he persevered. Then you have Dominic Reyes, 6-0 in the UFC, 12-0 overall. His most impressive win was against Chris Weidman by knockout. Weidman went up in division. Again, he had a split decision win over Volkan Ozdemir. He showed good takedown defense, good wrestling, good striking there. But in this fight, with John Jones, if you notice, every fight he starts off with that oblique kick. I feel like that's like his setup to get in the opponent's mind to make them think, is he going to keep doing that? And it makes the opponent think, I got to get out the way because I might get injured. My knee might snap. So from there, that's how the opponent switches stance. The game plan changes. With Dominic Reyes, he needs to get out the way. He needs to keep moving, concentrate on the footwork, be able to do inside kicks, be able to go in, try to get into Jones' reach, try to tag him, then go out. John Jones, he has amazing defense. When he blocks with one hand and is able to counter with the other. He has great kicks. He could do a elbow strike. He could take you down whenever you want. Uh, it's I really want to go with Reyes, but the more I think about it, John Jones is the greatest of all time. I think it's gonna go 5 rounds, and Jones gets the decision. But I want to see an upset. If Reyes were to win, I don't think it's going to be by decision. He needs to stop Jones. I don't think anyone can beat Jones in the decision. But if I'm picking, I think this is going to be a unanimous decision. John Jones is going to win.
All right, yeah, that's a pretty good. I do like that prediction because I think I don't think people give Dominic Reyes enough credit simply because most people just don't know who he is. Um, he as if you know anything about him, he's an athlete. Um, he was at one point trying to get into the NFL. He is you know he's got a great left hand, good kicks. Um, thing is though, he'll have to like in order to deal with John Jones, greatest, like you said, possibly the greatest of all time. He'll really have to, like you were saying, he'll really have to dictate the fight. What's funny actually about the co-main and the main event. I see kind of, I see kind of them both going similarly, as in like I think if the challenger is gonna end up coming up with a win, they're gonna have to do some similar things. They're gonna have to put some pressure on the champion. They have to be in their face, but also at the same time be very cautious while doing so by like getting in, but knowing when to get away at the same time. So I think that's what Reyes needs to do. Uh, John Jones, everyone knows he loves keeping his distance. He can pick you apart from like what seems like a mile away. With that front kick to the knee, with anything he chooses. I mean, the guy's a genetic freak, and his limbs are huge. Um, so he can again he can end this any way he wants. I think if Reyes gets close enough to throw some combos and try to tag him on the jaw, Jones can get a hold of him and put him in the clinch. And you don't want to be in a clinch with John Jones. I mean, he's got short elbows, he's got uppercuts, he can wrestle you. As we've seen, he's got great wrestling. I think he's a better wrestler than Dominic Reyes. But if Reyes can get a nice clean shot, particularly with his left, um, particularly if it's a counter left, um, you know, I think he does have some serious power in that hand. So that could potentially, shock the world, put down John Jones. Although things though, I just feel like Jones he's too smart, he's too intelligent. Him along with his team, his coaches, to to fall into that. He's very calculated in there. He's very calm, very patient. He picks his shots. Um, so I can't imagine him, um, letting things happen, letting things go right for Reyes. He'll make adjustments um, when he needs to throughout a fight very quickly. Switch up his stance. Um, Usually I think if Reyes is going to win, I think it's better off it might almost be better off he comes out strong in the first round while also being cautious at the same time. Maybe throw Jones off a little bit. Um, and I do think both fighters could could go the distance, could go 5 rounds, basically no problem. I think both of them are in good condition to go 5 rounds. Um, with all that being said, I do think Jones will put him away in the later rounds. Um, I'll say round 4 uh, via TKO. I just think by then, he'll wear him out a little. And it's like, I mean, when you see Jones in his last fight against Santos, Diego Santos, I mean, Thiago Santos was tough. I mean, he was basically on like no legs. He was barely standing. I don't know how he did that.
Fought him on two torn ACLs.
Yeah.
And,
So and
but he
I
did
can't.
tag him in that. He
Yeah, he
tagged him
well,
pretty good.
Santos. Yeah, I mean, he hits. He has crazy power. Everything he has. He's a big guy. So I don't know. I don't think it's gonna necessarily come to that. I don't know if Jones will face um, much tougher than Thiago Santos. Um, so I think eventually, towards the end of the fight, he'll get it done. He'll show why he's the greatest of all time, and yeah, and then move on to see what's next. Now, the weird thing is though, like Dominic Reyes, he's in this fight because he's undefeated. I mean that works well for him. But if
And
you
there's
look,
no one else there
and
in the
there's no
light
one else
heavyweight division.
exactly. There's not much. There's not much going on. So he's there right now. I mean, maybe you have next week. You have Corey Anderson and Jan Blachowicz. That could potentially maybe be the next fight after this for
I
Jones.
think
But
Jones will probably most likely want to go to heavyweight.
yeah,
That's what it's been. That's what the speculation has been. He might call out Stipe and want to fight him later down the road. I mean, I was always wondering how would a Jones and Francis Ngannou fight would go. That's
yeah,
something interesting to see.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, he's got options. But the thing is, yeah, the light heavyweight. There's nothing
Unless
big going on. I mean,
unless you wait till I wouldn't say till the end of this year, maybe mid next year, and see how Israel Adesanya does. See, I mean, he's got a few fights on his plate. He's got Yoel Romero, he's got Paul Costa, Darren Till possibly. If he gets past those three guys, and maybe Kelvin Gastelum in a rematch, if Kelvin could work with his way up. Maybe you do Israel and John Jones. I think that fight will be able to sell.
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, though, I think that is at least a year and a half away, though. Um, I mean, there's already a nice build up to it, and I think once that does happen, hopefully it does. It could potentially be a huge fight. Um, but yeah, so like I was saying though, Reyes, he's definitely deserving for the situation he's in. His last fight was a knockout, which got him in a good place. But um, yeah, I think I I do think there are a lot of people who like to root against Jones, which I understand. But I think they also just forget how good he is, like how great he is. Um, so I think he'll show that off very noticeably on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think the one thing with fighters when they face Jones, when they realize the reach he has, how he could be able to get them from far distance, and I think that changes their whole momentum. And then right away they panic and they try to do too much and end up paying the price, getting caught by an elbow or a kick, and just the game plan goes down the toilet and Jones just takes over. And, I think his reach is the big part of how successful he is.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's just I would imagine it's got to be so hard to train for something like that. I mean, unless you got someone training with you who has some kind of extension on his arms. I mean, I would imagine it looks funny to trying to hit you from distance. I would think. I mean, they've got to do some kind of exercise to try to mimic Jones's reach. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine like you can train for all you want, but once you get in there, it's a totally different animal. I mean, Reyes, he seems, he seems very confident, very calm, um, which he should be. I mean, he's undefeated. Um, he's undefeated. He's, put people away. Um, but it's just, I think Jones is a whole nother level. We'll see. I mean, you never know. Um, maybe Reyes, he would definitely be shocking the world if he got a win, especially if he would knock him out, which I think would have to happen if he's going to win. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's a good one though. Hopefully it's a little more competitive than what people think.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
And real quick, in MMA news, it looks like we will be getting Usman and Masvidal
Yeah,
possibly International Fight Week. It looks like it's pretty much set. And also, I've been hearing talks about Volkanovski and Holloway rematch. That's going to be set too. So those are two good fights coming up in the future.
yeah. It's funny. It seems like it was almost like that announcement of Usman and Masvidal was almost set up perfectly with that little confrontation they had
Yeah.
at the last week, the week before the Super Bowl. So yeah, it was kind of convenient. They were both there, and then soon after, Dana White goes and announces it. Yeah, I actually just finally watched that just a little while ago. I finally saw the video. So yeah, no, that's I think it's the fight to make. I mean, we saw Colby Covington trying to get a rematch for his, but it's the guy's not gonna be able to get an immediate rematch in such a stacked division right now. Whereas, like you were saying, um, Volkanovski and Holloway makes all the sense in the world because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not too much else going on there, and Holloway was such a dominant champion for a while. So, yeah, those were good. Those great matches, both of them. When is Volkanovski and Holloway supposed to happen?
They didn't announce
No,
it just
nothing's
yet, but
official, but
yeah, if I had to guess, it probably might be the co-main for International Fight Week. If I
yeah,
had to guess, possibly. That's a big fight for Holloway. I mean, Volkanovski is a very, very good striker, and I think a lot of people underestimated him on how good he is. And if he could beat Holloway for a second time, that would definitely set him up to be one of potentially of one of the greatest featherweights out there.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I do believe there will be doing a number one contenders match with Korean Zombie and Zabit possibly. I
yeah.
don't
So
know.
is that
They
official?
didn't. I
Yeah,
still haven't seen the
yeah.
announcement, but I saw it that they were trying to
Like
get
I
that
saw
fight
it,
going.
but then it's gone.
Yeah.
It's really weird. That's got to happen though. That makes all the sense in the world. I mean, that'd be amazing.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
the two of them going at it. I mean, it's perfect. Like the perfect matchup to make right now. Yeah, that'd be fun. All right. Um, so that's it. It's our preview prediction show for the week. If anyone has any questions, suggestions, critiques, please let us know in some comments. Everybody enjoy the fights. We'll see you guys next time.